Welcome back, everyone, to the next Let's Play video in the Industry Manager Future Technology series. So, what do we want to accomplish in this video? Well, a few things. But first and foremost, I want to get some research going so that we can expand our product offerings even more. Now, I know the offerings that we have so far are nowhere near meeting the demand, but I'm ready to go ahead and expand, and I really want to get to where we're offering nearly all of the software products available. Then we can look at making a decision of, do we want to simply focus on ramping up the production that we have on and focusing on software, or at some point we're going to want to expand into other areas such as food or jewelry or some of those other sectors that we looked at earlier. So, but right now we're not going to tackle that just yet because we haven't gotten through software yet. So let's take a look at where we are with software. Our bottom line is doing good. We're at 50,500 per day. Let's go into our product lines and see that if we want to, we still have several product offerings here under advanced research. We're not doing embedded systems simply because of some of the underlying things. I'm not interested in oil wells, refineries, or chemical factories right now. So we've got these other four already taken care of. Plus, we've got both games there. So we're ready to dive into this. And then I realized something. Okay, so let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit while we're talking. So I realized we got sector cost going, we got worker salary, we got advanced graphics engine, we got all these things that are based around cost. Okay? And I'm just not interested in doing that right now because I want to make sure we can get what we need. So in all of these that we've had queued up, except for this one here, the building cost. Oh, what is it showing us here? So let's go ahead and pause for a moment. Let's see what we've got here. Bank interest rates have risen due to bad business choices the bank has made. Okay, so we're going into some social commentary. I see here it mentions the bank is too big to fail. So we're going into some 2008 bank failure commentary there. What's important for us is bank interest rates have risen, and we're not using bank loans in this playthrough anyway, or at least I'm hoping to get completely away from them. But right now, what we need to do in order to open up additional products is we need advanced research. So that's the first one I want going, and we're going to go ahead and speed up time a little bit more than normal to try to get sector costs out of the way. Then I'm going to come back to building cost, and I want to queue that up. And the reason is, as we expand further, building costs is going to be one of the huge areas of cost for us, as well as sector costs. So those are two things that I definitely do want to get down. But I haven't forgotten, I mean, worker salary still is going to be a huge cost for us, but we're going to need to quickly expand. And whenever your buildings cost multiple millions of dollars, those are the biggest costs that you have that are keeping you from expanding. All right, so right now we're still around between 49 and 50,000 per turn. We're at 4.9, almost $5 million. So we've got enough money that I believe we're going to be able to start building some additional software centers pretty soon. All right, so let's look at this particular software company, and let's see if we wanted to add a production line, which we do not because all of our workers are currently making social network plugins. But you can see we're currently building everything we can build except for the embedded systems, which we already talked about. So we're building the other 6 products here. So we need to unlock some additional products in order to really get somewhere, and that involves advanced research. If I come back over to this particular screen for production tree on advanced research, you can see if I want to make operating systems, everything is in the green for research except for advanced research. Same thing with integrated development, same thing with database management, and so on. Now, we're going to leave virtual AI assistant alone for the same reason that we were leaving embedded systems alone, only it's even worse over here. I mean, you've just got a production chain that's a nightmare for us right now. So we're not even going to think about touching that. We're going to simply focus right now on advanced research. We're going to get that one done. And then we're going to continue with, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and queue up worker salary there as well. And maybe even research duration. We can always change this later. This is why I'm not too terribly worried about this. Let's see, sector resource amount. Oh, okay. So that one's interesting. So we got some things going on, that's for sure. And right now, we're looking at, we've unlocked at least one in everything that we need except for speech recognition, which is only used for the product we're not going to be building. So once advanced research is done, which should be momentarily, I'm actually going to slow down time a little bit, and let's see if we can actually build software company 2.4 million. So let's go ahead and build. Let's go ahead and turn this around, see if we can build one more of those. I think we're actually going to have 3 new products available to us once our research is completed, and 96%, we're almost there. Okay, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and software, I'm going to go ahead and start up another one. So we're going to have an entire sector. How about if I do it this way? Does that give me any more room? I'm actually not sure it does. But we're going to do it this way and try to get that. Okay. All right. So it just told us that we have a new product. In fact, it should be right over here. Yeah, new product available for production, database management, integrated development environment, and operating system. So we've got 3 new ones right now that we can build. We're kind of out of money after building 2 of them, but that money will refill itself quickly, as well as add to the fact that building cost is going to be reduced here shortly. So we're looking good. We're going to speed up time a little bit here, get things moving along. All right, so it looks like we got one software almost done, one software company, that is. And by looking at it, can't tell which one it is. I know it's this one. But, okay, so let's go ahead and add. And what do we want to add? Let's see. We've got all of these. We'll go ahead and do operating system. Missing advanced research upgrade. What does that mean? Are there more? Okay, I'm confused. Let's go ahead and pause time here for a moment while I try to figure out what in the world is missing. Let's go back in and try that again. So, oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Woo. We'll go ahead and start everything back up. So we want to upgrade our workforce. So that instead of 10 workers, we'll have access to 40. Advanced research, 200,000. Our money is going fast. We're not making video games, so we don't need that here. Okay, so now let's try this out. So operating system and feature costs are huge. So that's one cost savings we definitely do want to do whenever we get to that. Okay, max quality. And how many can we do per day? We can do a grand total of 12 per day. Wow. Okay, that's not much. But we're going to go ahead and get that done. So those can go ahead and be made. Now we need a transport route to take it to the warehouse when we're done. And there's our product, so we're good there. Okay, and now let's go over to our location in the city. And we're going to need a new shop. Let's choose our warehouse and then our product, which is there. 800. Wait a minute. Now, how can we try to sell this for less than what we've got in it? That's just not going to work. All right, so let's go ahead and try to sell that for about, well, we'll give it a shot. $900 for an operating system seems just a wee bit on the expensive side. And I've already made the mistake I have made previously. I'm going to have to reset that price momentarily because I went ahead and set the price before I got all of my shops opened. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Okay, now all of our shops are open. We will not be selling this thing at at less than what we have in it. That's for sure. Okay, so we're going to start out with 900, and we'll give that a little bit of time to try to filter through, and we'll see if we can indeed make any money with that, because that's not a large markup, but that is a huge cost for sure. So we're going to have to see. We may have to adopt reductions in feature costs right away here. Okay, let's go ahead and look here. Advanced research on this one. We want to upgrade that. Same thing with our workforce. Let's go ahead and take care of that. We're not making video games. Okay, add, and what is this? Integrated. Yep, that's what we want to do. Okay, go ahead and create that. Max out our quality, which we may have to change that. Okay, so we're going to make 13 of these per day. Okay, that's still okay. As long as we can make money on them, we'll work through that. All right, let's go ahead and add our transport route, warehouse, and resource. So we got things going fast and furious right now. Okay. So now we need a new shop. By the way, we seem to be selling them. So for now, we're good there, but I'm definitely going to want to play around with the pricing on that. Okay. This one right now looks like it wants to sell for a very small markup. So we're going to have to adjust that because it's not any use in us making the product if we don't have any bigger markup than that. Okay, so let's go back to here and let's go ahead and take this up to 800. Let's leave it 805 since we're already there. Okay, and we'll see how many of those we'll end up selling. Let's see just a quick glance here. And looks like we're fine. We're not making a ton on that right now, but it looks like we're at least on our way. Okay, so we've gotten 2 of our products on their way. We've gotten operating system and integrated development environment, I believe, are the 2. So we need database management, I believe is what we're doing. Yeah, operating system is being made in this one. Integrated development there. Okay. So database management is our last one. Building costs, really want to wait for that one to be done for a couple of reasons. Number one, it will give our profit, which is increased quite a bit. We were down below 50. Now we're at 55,000 per day. It also it will allow that money to grow. It will also bring down the amount of money we're going to need to build whenever this research completes. So as of right now, if I tried to get going, it would cost 2.4 million. But if I wait just a bit, then I should be able to get it for even less than that, probably around 2 million, to maybe 2.2 million. I forget what the percentage of decrease was from that. All right, so we're selling all of these, it appears. Well, maybe not. Well, of course, it would also help if I were on the right product. Okay, well, maybe we are, maybe we're not. So we've got 11, 0, and 1, so we're 12. Now the question becomes, how many are we making? All right, so educational operating system. Producing 12 and consuming 12, that's good. PC games, got 142 in storage. That seems very high. We have to take a look at adjusting that. Okay, but for now, it really and truly, it looks like we're in good shape here. Okay, let's take a look at this particular, see what we're 13, 14. So we're doing okay on this one, $1,300 that we're adding to our bottom line per day based on this particular product, as opposed to a much smaller number here of 512. So we're not making near the money there. All right, so but overall, we'll let that flow a little bit. Oh, I did want to look at our, well, I'm thinking about it, our PC game. Let's bring down the price a little bit here and see if we can bring this number down, because it seems like, yeah, we're starting to get some numbers of stored going up. Okay, and I don't want to get that up too much. So we'll go ahead, because after all, we're making 7,000 per day off of that, and I don't want to lose too much on that. Yeah, so we don't want to get too far off there. We're up at 53,000 per day now, and looking good. How are we looking on research? Building costs, almost done. Remember, we were at 2.4 million. There we go. 2.4 million to build another software. So now we're at basically 2.1. Okay, so we're going to build another one here for our final product that we're going to cover in today's video. And it looks like just in time for a progress report. Can you hold on just a moment with your progress report while I attempt? Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and put this as close as I can down here. Okay, now let's take a look at this progress report. So balance, not too bad. Company value, we've reached the bottom there. So our revenue, not too bad. We're much better than the red team, and the purple team has got us beat right now. We're pretty close on buildings. Research is identical. They have much more expenses than we do. Our workers, we must have chosen a particular industry that needs a lot more workers. So something to keep in mind for your playthroughs, that you might want to look at that worker number, because it looks like the software industry requires a lot more workers, and I can see that. You need developers and so on. So understandable. All right, let's go ahead and get our upgrades for workforce and advanced research. And we are ready for database management. Okay, let's go ahead and create that. Max out our quality. And how many of these can we do a day? Just under 17. And yes, we do want to hire those workers. So things are looking good there. We need to go and get these final products to our warehouse. And that will take care of that end. Now we need to run over and use our final shop. We do have upgrades available, and we can expand on this for future reference. But for now, this will use our last shop space. And we're going to go ahead and, just so I don't forget about it later on, go ahead and open up these shops in all 3 cities, even though it really is not going to do us much good. Okay, by default, it's not showing it's going to make us very much. I'm going to go with 655 here and see how much we make versus how much we sell and all that kind of thing here. And we'll sort of watch that as we go along. Everything's still looking good on these others. The units stored is really what I'm focused on. I want to make sure that we don't get into storing a bunch of units and not selling very many. And I'm much less focused on the actual profit from these, simply because we've got money rolling in. We're doing good there. We can always nitpick those things and really dial those things in later on. Don't want to get too carried away with that right now. Okay, so we're researching some worker salary reduction, which is very good, because that's going to get us another 10% off of worker salary. Now is where I want to start getting into, let's go back, and the stuff that I took off the table earlier that would reduce our feature costs. Now we're going to go back and put those on. And go ahead and let's go ahead and max all of this out. Okay, and then we'll get into these as well and really try to lock down our costs and try not to let things get too much out of hand. Building cost is already as low as we can get it for this particular area. Building construction cost. Can we get back on? Okay. Building construction time, rather. Here we can reduce that. That I'm not really seeing that as a huge issue, so I'm not terribly worried about that. Research duration would be nice to reduce as well. But all right, so we got a lot done in this episode. I'm happy with what we've got done, because if we come back to our production tree, we are now producing 4 of the 5 here, and we know why we're not producing that one. We're producing 3 of the 4 here, same thing, we know why we're not producing that one, and both games. So this will actually max us out for what I intend to do in the software side of things for now. So now we're at a decision making time. Do we, where do we go from here? Do we try to increase our production by building more and more software companies to simply increase our total availability, our total sales? Or do we look at moving on into one of these other areas? If you guys have a particular preference on that, let me know. At this point, I'm thinking I might want to move over into food and start doing some research there, so we can open up the various buildings within food. So we'll be ready to do those shortly. But if you have a particular preference on which one of these we go into, just let me know and I'll definitely look into it. So we'll call it a video here. Hope you enjoyed and we're able to learn something from my mistakes that I make in the game. And join us next time for more Industry Manager Future Technologies.